Reporting from the front lines, the unforgettable experiences of Murad Gazdiev. Murad Gazdiev is a name that has become synonymous with war reporting, particularly in the context of the Russian military intervention in Ukraine. As a correspondent for the Russian news outlet Russia Today, Gazdiev has been on the front lines of some of the most dangerous and volatile conflict zones in recent years. But before he became known as a fearless war correspondent, Gazdiev had a completely different life in England. Gazdiev was born in 1984 in the city of Stavropol in southern Russia. His family was of mixed heritage. His father was Russian and his mother was Chechen. Growing up, Gazdiev was immersed in both cultures and languages, which would prove to be a valuable asset in his later career. At the age of 10, Gazdiev and his family moved to England, where his father had been offered a job. The move was a huge culture shock for Gazdiev, who had to quickly adjust to a new language, customs, and way of life. Despite the challenges, he adapted quickly and excelled in school. Gazdiev's interest in journalism began to develop during his teenage years. He started writing for the school newspaper and became fascinated with current affairs and international news. He also had a passion for languages and was fluent in Russian, English, and Chechen, and had a good understanding of French and Arabic. After completing high school, Gazdiev went on to study journalism at the University of Westminster in London. During his time at university, he gained practical experience by interning at various news outlets, including the BBC and Reuters. He also started freelancing for local newspapers, covering a range of topics from politics to entertainment. Upon graduating, Gazdiev landed his first job as a reporter for a small news agency. He covered local news in London, but his dream was to become an international correspondent. It wasn't long before he got his chance. In 2007, Gazdiev was offered a position at Russia Today, RT, as a correspondent in London. He jumped at the opportunity, despite knowing that he would have to report on controversial topics and face criticism for working for a Russian news outlet. However, Gazdiev saw it as a chance to gain valuable experience and to report on stories that were often overlooked by Western media. Gazdiev's first major assignment for RT was covering the 2008 conflict between Russia and Georgia. He was one of the few Western journalists on the ground, providing a unique perspective on the conflict. His reporting was well received, and he quickly became a rising star at RT. Over the next few years, Gazdiev covered a range of international events, including the Arab Spring, the Eurozone crisis, and the 2011 earthquake and nuclear disaster in Japan. He also reported on the conflict in Ukraine, which saw him return to his home country and report in both Russian and English. His ability to speak multiple languages and understand different cultures gave him an edge in reporting on these complex issues. In 2014, Gazdiev's career took a dramatic turn when he was sent to cover the Russian military intervention in Syria. He was one of the first journalists on the ground, reporting from the front lines and providing an inside look at the conflict. It was a dangerous assignment, but Gazdiev was determined to tell the stories of the people affected by the war. Gazdiev's reporting in Syria gained him widespread recognition and acclaim. He was praised for his bravery and his ability to capture the human side of the conflict. His reports showed the devastating impact of the war on civilians, as well as the bravery and determination of the Syrian army and their allies. Despite facing criticism and accusations of bias for working for a Russian news outlet, Gazdiev remained dedicated to his job and continued to report from conflict zones around the world. He covered the war in Yemen, the Rohingya refugee crisis in Myanmar, and the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. In 2017, Gazdiev was appointed as the chief correspondent for RT's Middle East Bureau, based in Beirut, Lebanon. He continues to cover the Syrian conflict, as well as other stories in the region. He also hosts a weekly talk show called On Contact, where he interviews experts and analysts on current events and global affairs. Gazdiev's work has not gone without recognition. He has received numerous awards for his reporting, including the International Emmy Award for News Coverage in 2017 and the Foreign Press Association's TV News Story of the Year in 2018. He has also been praised by his colleagues and fellow journalists for his commitment to reporting the truth and his unwavering dedication to his job. Despite his success as a war correspondent, Gazdiev remains humble and grounded. He continues to use his platform to shed light on important issues and to give a voice to those who are often ignored by mainstream media.